Welcome to the Business with Beers podcast. This is the place where we help entrepreneurs expand their business, build their wealth, and generate passive income. I'm your host, Brian Beers, an entrepreneur who's on a mission to inspire growth from everyone around me. Remember that you need to take the actions others won't, and you can live the life that others don't. Please be sure to check out my weekly newsletter that now drops every Thursday. It includes one quote, one tweet, one podcast recommendation, plus some business and investing insight from me. It's short and it's sweet. My goal is to provide you with just a couple gold nuggets to help inspire your growth. Go to brianbeers.com to subscribe.
It'll record locally to get the highest quality, and then it's uploading while we're recording. And so sometimes my screen may look a little fuzzy, your screen may look a little fuzzy. Don't worry about it. It's recording at the highest. It's recording locally, but then it produces really high quality video at the end. So,
okay,
all right. And then at the end too, you have a pretty good internet connection, but at the end, it'll be a little it'll tell you hey, it's done recording. If not, it can mess it up. So,
okay,
cool. All right, here we go. Hello everyone. I'm excited today to bring David Luke. David is the owner of Pink Zebra Moving. It's an emerging franchise in the moving space. Prior to that, Dave helped start, scale, and sell one of the fastest growing cleaning franchises in the country. And he's going to tell us about how he's taken a lot of the best practices that he learned in that other business and how they're applying to making Pink Zebra an awesome company. So welcome, David.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So tell us, what is Pink Zebra?
It is a new way to do moving. Most everybody that has had an experience with a mover is a negative experience, from them not showing up to not communicating to really a bait and switch, pricing one thing, showing up to the home, loading the truck and say, oh, it's going to be this. A lot of bad experiences in the space. It led us to want to innovate that space. When it comes to service-based industries, we had experience in that. With the maid service, we wanted to innovate something boring. And here in the moving, we wanted to innovate something that was not just boring, but broken. So what we've done in Pink Zebra is really come to the market with a new way to do customer service in the moving space. That has made all the difference. It is really a fun way to do moving, and we actually consider ourselves the fun moving company because we make moving fun. So hopefully we're going to create a new segment in this space that is enjoyable for people to move. They don't see it as a chore or a burden, just because of some of the things we do to offer that customer service.
Okay. So I think I have a bunch of questions, but so for one of them, it's a big part of the proposition is make it fun, make it more enjoyable, more reliable. So I guess what are some of the ways you would do that? We'll start there.
Yeah, sure. So with our concept, we're doing calls. We're doing calls before the move. We're doing calls 100 days after the move. We're calling the day before. We're constantly communicating with the customer because, again, they know it's going to be a high stressful time in their life. So we're over communicating, number one. Number two is we're doing different things. We're doing a surprise box at the end of the move. We're doing dances. We're showing videos before the move, the night of the move. We're saying, our movers are getting ready. We're doing pull-ups. We're doing push-ups, whatever. So we send the customer videos of us preparing for their move tomorrow. So in that, it's fun. We want to make it fun for the customer.
Okay. Some of the other things I've seen online is you've got a mascot that's a zebra.
That's right.
That occasionally shows up. Tell me about the toilet paper.
We do have Pink Zebra toilet paper because that's one of the things people forget. One of the things they,
when they move into the new house or new apartment or whatever, they don't bring toilet paper with them, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so then you place into the bathrooms of the new house a bunch of pink colored toilet paper.
That's right. Brian, can we take a pause?
Yeah.
Is there a way to do that?
Yeah.
One sec. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Very good. Awesome. So, all right. Cool. So let's kind of back up a little bit. Let's talk about the residential business a little bit and kind of the background, and we'll go from there. So what? Tell me about the cleaning company.
So Two Maids, we started that. Ron started that in Pensacola, Florida. Started with a company-owned strategy. We decided to franchise that concept about 10 years ago. Grew that to right about 100 units. We sold the concept in 2021 to Home Franchise Concepts. So we had a wonderful time doing that. You know, we went into a boring space. We did customer service different in that space. We paid differently. We did pay incentive programs. We did all kind of different things to innovate that space. And that started creating the fastest growing maid service in America. We learned SEO, we learned search engine marketing. We really learned the dynamics of building a franchise system from the marketing, from the call center, from every different piece of the customer service experience. And really for the franchise owner, we did a lot of things they asked for. They wanted us to do the marketing, we did. They wanted us to be their call center, we did. They wanted a more absentee approach to business ownership, so we created that. During that time was kind of our learning of, you know, ultimately what business owners wanted and what customers ultimately wanted. So that was terribly fun.
Yep. Okay. And in that business, I mean, so a big part of the proposition, right? And it's harder to hire cleaners. It's harder to retain cleaners. I think that's probably the truth of that industry. Obviously, can be really good recurring revenue, right? But it's the supply side of the workforce that's really hard.
Right.
And so in that business, it sounds like, you know, part of the franchisor value proposition was to bring in all these ways to help make it easier for franchisees to hire and retain staff, right?
That's right.
And I guess you found that to be effective, that those systems worked.
We did. We still had challenges. I mean, as you know, you just said it, with a maid service, you do have recurring revenue. Wonderful. That's the positive. The negative of that is turnover is rampant. The supply of dedicated workers was, I mean, you may lose one every 3 to 6 months if you're lucky. When we incentivized that, we did incentive programs for our cleaners, but still turnover was rampant. We've seen a much different thing in the moving space.
Okay. So kind of, how did you end up on moving, right? So you sold this thing in 21. I'm sure you guys made a bunch of money, and then you kind of decided, hey, what's next? I guess, what other businesses you look at? Why did you end up decide on moving? I mean, you told us about some of the fragmented and the customer service thing, but take me through that journey.
We researched a lot. We looked at, home health transportation. We looked at anything in the service space, from AC units to plumbing to whatever. But we settled on moving. It made sense. There weren't people coming into the space. There wasn't innovation. There were a lot of factors that started to play with moving. Once we started digging more into the numbers of moving to it, made a lot more sense. It was a boring market, had not been innovated in that vertical, and also the numbers. So an average, just to give you numbers, here, 2 men in a truck, they do about 3.4 million on average. The average owner of a 2 men in a truck does 3.4 million in revenue. Their margin on that is about a 17 to 18%. It's public information. That's from their 19. So for me, when we started looking at some of these concepts out there in moving, and really moving only has 2 concepts that are franchised currently. And so people weren't rushing into the space, and the numbers made tons of sense.
So it's two men in a truck and then college hunks, hauling and moving stuff.
That's right. So with 2 men in a truck, their average revenue was 3.4 million. Average McDonald's, 2.8 million. So it's ridiculous when you start, a McDonald's restaurant. But then you start looking at the numbers of a 2 men in a truck. Moving space makes a lot more sense. Lower cost of entry, lower overhead, lower turnover, and the margins are outstanding. So financially it made a lot of sense. And then being in the boring service space, which we love.
Yep. Yeah, it made sense. So then what did you try to buy one? I mean, I think you guys ended up starting one. Tell me about that.
We did. That's actually part of our process. We looked for, I don't know, 6 months to a year to buy a moving company. We just wanted to buy one that was already existing, had systems, all that kind of stuff. The prices we got back when we were talking to moving owners was ridiculous. I mean, it was $1 million, it was $2 million, it was $5 million. And we're like, what the heck are you talking about? That's another thing. We were like, these people, they understand what they have. And the exit strategy for these guys is a lot. So for us, that made sense too. That these things retained a lot of value. People held a lot of value. So like I said, we tried, but we couldn't. And part of my process now, whenever people look at Pink Zebra, I literally tell them, hey, go buy another movie company. Go buy a 2 million truck. Go look, see what they're selling for. And you'll see, $1 million existing, $2 million existing, or $150,000 with us.
Yep. Yeah, I have a friend who owned a bunch of 2 men in a truck in Chicago, and he sold it out for a ton of money, and he owned the warehouse space that they use, so he still owns that, and like I think rents it to the guy he sold it to, or but yeah, it was financially he did really well with it, and built it up. I think one of the cool parts about moving is it scales, right? I think in that, at least in 2 men, 3.4 is. It's good, but there's some guys out there doing tens of millions, right?
That's right. That's right. I mean, they've been around since '88.
Yep.
Melanie did a great job at building that. She actually sold in 21 as well. I can't even remember who.
Private equity company.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So let's dive in a little bit more into 2 men. So you mentioned 150. So what's it cost to start up a territory?
Well, that really depends on the size of the territory. Smaller markets are going to be, about 100,000 on a smaller market, and then you get your metro markets. They're going to be 150 to 250,000. It really just depends on how much you're looking to buy.
Yeah, how much someone wants to buy, like all of Philadelphia, or they just want to buy like one county or whatever, right?
Right.
Is that
We set up multiple offices in areas. We have that strategy happening in the Denver metro area, where it's 5 territories. A territory for us is about 500,000 people, but it's going to be 2 offices that are going to be serving the Denver metro area.
And an office is just like a small, like industrial, like meeting spot for the guys to come and I guess park the trucks and
industrial commercial D. It's not a retail front or anything like that. They're parking the trucks. They're having their morning meetings. There's an office there.
Yeah, with supplies, straps, and blankets and stuff.
But it's not going to be very. Again, Ron and myself are probably risk averse investors ourselves.
Yeah.
So when it comes to starting things, we want to have as little overhead, little turnover, as little headaches and risk as possible when starting that business. So with moving, that it has all those factors too. The cost of the warehouse industrial space is fairly inexpensive compared to your commercial lease or anything like that.
Okay. So someone who wants to do a bigger deal. So Denver, for example, it's about 2.5 million people, I assume. You said it was about five territories, right?
Yeah, that's 200,000 for the area. And then you're still looking at about 50 to 100,000 to start. So let's go 300,000.
So about 300K plus, then I guess they're probably leasing the trucks.
They are. They can do that. We have programs to where we can finance the trucks for them. We can lease the trucks for them, whatever they want there. So we have all kind of programs as far as helping them finance the purchase and the trucks and even the working capital for the business.
Got it. But 300K ish, they're kind of getting into this market. They own the brand in that market. They've got obviously might have multiple warehouse, light, super inexpensive spaces to park the trucks, meeting space, north and south, east and west, whatever.
Different, we're only looking for about 100 owners. We want those 100 owners to really dominate those markets. Dominate Denver, dominate Charlotte. We're not looking to subdivide. Even
have 1,000 owners, each have one location, right? You want 100 with 10 each or whatever.
That's right. That's our vision. It's going to be better. Honestly, it's win-win. It's better for us. It's better for them as well.
Yeah.
So there's incentives, of course.
Yeah. And so why do you think that? Because there's other companies, it's a total opposite, right? They don't want any multi-unit, like 1 or 2 is the max. Has it changed over time, or has it always been for you guys?
No. I'd say if you're an owner-operator model, you want one-on-one.
Okay.
An owner-operator model or owner-operator executive where they have to be in that business every day.
Okay.
That's one-to-one. And that's what we were in Two Mates world. We didn't do multi-units with Two Mates. We wanted every person to be owner-operated. That shifted over time. Now with Pink Zebra, we are set up more for a semi-absentee model to where, no, we're not, our owners are not moving boxes. Our owners are not experts in moving. Our owners are not experts in marketing or call center or any of that stuff, because we're doing all that for them. We're setting all that stuff up. Getting their license, we're doing that. Getting the trucks, we're doing that. Getting the call center, hell, even sourcing the manager, we're doing all that too. Their general manager that's running the business. So it incentivizes them to really own that market, because the system and infrastructure is there to support that.
Okay.
Kind of different.
Yeah. So what does the staffing look like? So let's say I buy Philadelphia. It's whatever,
right.
six territories. I'm the investor, right? I've got other businesses I run, or whatever. So walk me through, like, what's the org structure? What the org structure would look like for that?
So ours is pretty simple. It's 2 trucks. Those 2 trucks you start with can generate right at $1 million. Can't really do more than $1 million in revenue. Those 2 trucks. Those 2 trucks are going to have at least 4 people in those trucks. So we advise to have 6 movers from the drop. So 4,
yep.
And then 2 rotations.
2 backups.
Yeah. And then a GM. So 6 to 7 people to start the business, and your GM could be the backup as well. But we have tracking on all the trucks, so the GM can see where they are. They can communicate with the customer during the move. They can, be the eyes and ears of the brand in that market. Meeting with realtors, meeting with apartment complexes, meeting with, high rises or whatever in their area. But the GM would not be considered a moving expert necessarily, but
yeah, he's a people person. So the GM, you're thinking, is doing some of that sales and then running the operations.
That's right.
Probably until you get to a certain point, then you probably need a dedicated ops person, right, and a dedicated salesperson.
Yeah, I mean, when you're developing out multiple different territories, sure.
Yep. But if someone's starting small and then growing it, right, you just you would, as you add territories, maybe you look to staff up.
That's right.
Yep. Okay. So you got the call center. So that's for inbound calls. Does that also do those outbound calls you mentioned, or does the local franchisee do that?
It does. We call it a sales center. It's not a call center.
Okay.
So we're actively selling. Now the call center is incentivized too. They get incentivized per book for
their comp
in home, and then they get incentivized for every scheduled move they have on your schedule.
Okay.
So our owners are happy to pay it. $18 for an in-home estimate and $40 for a scheduled book move. So our owners like, yes, please go ahead and put moves on my calendar. I don't even meet the customer sometimes, but the call center is doing that for them. Go ahead and booking it, and also getting their information. That surprise we're doing for the customers. We're getting all that information from the customer. How their kids are, what are they into, what sports do they like? Do they like baseball, soccer? We may give them a Pink Zebra soccer ball. We may give them a Pink Zebra basketball, whatever.
Yep. Okay. So you were looking to buy a company, couldn't find one. You decided to start it. Where's the corporate location at? The first location? Birmingham, Alabama. Mm-hmm. Okay. So how's that going? Like, when did it start? I mean, I know you have some financials in your FDD, whatever you can speak to about the performance.
That was kind of the first. You start something and you think, we know franchising, but how are we going to do this moving thing? So in our first year, we did $678,000 in the top line, and our bottom line after literally our P&L is our item 19. We just showed you our P&L. Here it is. This is line by line. This is what we paid for marketing, labor, office expense, truck expense. All of it's listed. We did $115,000 to the bottom line, and that's having a general manager in place. So that was, we set it up like we want our owners to set it up. Now, granted, an owner can be active and be the general manager themselves if they want. If they want to get out of what they're doing and do this full time, have at it. But we paid that manager about $50,000 with some other bonuses, but then netted EBITDA.
From
right?
zero. From zero.
Zero.
That was the first year. Okay.
That was the first year.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
then we thought, holy crap, we've got something. It's a $150,000 investment. 115,000 came back first year. Uh-oh. Then the light went off. And holy crap. Along the way, we kind of thought, oh crap, this actually is working. Kind of the second phase of that validation is actually the customers. Now the customers in our markets, in Denver, in Nashville, in Atlanta, in Charlotte, in Wilmington, in Birmingham, in Montgomery, in Auburn, and all these markets we're in, it's literally some days I'll just look and see the reviews of what people are saying about how we're doing moving differently. That's when we had the validation with the first office. We're like, holy crap, this is working. We're making money. Then the second one is, holy crap, these customers they're getting what we're doing moving differently. We're making it fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How do you ensure that consistency, right? Because I mean, you have that vision. It's easy as corporate, but like to get a whole bunch of franchisees across the country, 100 plus, to have the same smiles and the same fun is culture, right? That is hard. So how do you plan on ensuring that everybody will deliver as much fun as you do?
Partnering with the right people, 100% partnering with the right owners. Our model does not guarantee success in no way.
Yep.
We actually want to partner with people that we think are going to be successful, with or without us, actually. So I don't want it to be like we've created this thing that's just going to make everybody a millionaire. It won't do that. But for the right people, and for the right people that we screen, we interview, we go through, it's going to be a game changer. So for these people that we believe are going to be successful, I say we don't create Superman or Superwoman. We just give them the cape. We give them the tools. They in themselves have to be successful. They have to have some drive. They have to have some hustle. We cannot.
They have to believe in what they have to drink the Kool-Aid, right? And they got to believe in it.
And some people don't. That's okay. So part of that, and it's really how we do responsible franchising. Really, we just because people come to us does not mean we think it's the right partnership. That's not good for us. Not good for them. We do not win if people just buy a franchise and don't succeed. We don't win.
So what does that ideal franchisee look like? I mean, you said you've got what? How many franchisees now?
That ideal franchise is brown hair, 5'9". Bill, I don't know. Yeah. Just literally can't think. The ideal franchise, it's always the same answer. You don't care background, don't care anything really, except for one thing: hustle. And we've got to find out if that person's got hustle, determination, grit. We need that. They can be from software. They can be an attorney. They can be a truck driver. They can be a bar manager. They can be whatever. That's not the indicator of success. What we've seen over 10 years of doing this, it literally is hustle from them, belief and hustle in what they're doing.
Yep.
That's the indicator.
Yep. That's awesome. So what markets, how many, I guess, franchisees do you have? How many markets or territories, whatever the numbers is as of November 30th here?
Man, I'm trying to keep a tab. I think we're at 40, 41. I should know that.
Okay. Units, territories sold.
Units. I mean, Boston, New Jersey, Wilmington, Charlotte, Atlanta just as of yesterday.
Yep. Saw that.
St. Louis, San Antonio.
Okay. Yeah.
Gosh,
it's growing. How many of them are open?
Birmingham, Montgomery, Auburn, Columbus, Athens, Denver, Oklahoma City, Littleton. Oh crap! I think
that's right. I don't want to. Yeah, we're good. Are many of them open?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So it's a pretty quick launch to like sign to open 90 days or less type of deal.
It is. Yeah. So we're open in Oklahoma City, Denver, Charlotte, Wilmington, Birmingham, Nashville. Did say that? We're open in. I think we have. Like I said, 40 markets, but I think that accounts for about 10 to 12 owners that we have.
Okay. What's your largest franchisee? Like, how many did they buy or markets?
Largest franchisee revenue, largest franchisee size.
Either. Tell me both.
All right.
or whatever you can tell me.
I'm trying to think, can I actually tell you largest franchisee by revenue? So we've had one franchisee, yes, do better than expected.
Okay.
Kind of way better than expected. So and again, since
It's okay.
we'll be able to report that in the next FDD, love to. But part of the process, you're going to talk, candidates for us, they're going to talk with those owners. They're going to find out. I just can't be the one to please, Lord, talk to them. They've done way better than we probably even kind of budgeted for. And then kind of everybody else is kind of on track. It's kind of crazy. The largest markets are Denver, that's a 5 territory, and those owners also on Nashville, which is 4 territories. So our largest is 9 territories.
Did they have like previous like roots in those cities?
They do.
But they already had some assets and people in place type of thing.
They own multi-unit franchises before.
Okay. Yep. I can imagine that would be beneficial. Talk about like the moving's correlation to the real estate markets, right? Everybody, everyone knows real estate market's starting to dry up. Interest rates are going up, housing affordability is going down. A lot of people associate moving with housing sales. So that I think is some of the pushback I'm sure you hear. So talk to me about that. What is it like right now in the moving industry?
I think that's a reality. But the other side of that reality is people are still going to move. Businesses are still going to move. In downtimes and uptimes, people move. Whenever, people are moving out of houses they can't afford, they're going to be moving. When they move into houses they can't afford, they're moving. When the economy goes up or down, this is not I don't want to say this is a recession proof. I don't think anything is recession proof, but I think moving, and again, it's been around since the franchise moving space had been around since 1988, and it's gone through, I think, at least 4 recessions, maybe more. Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking of 4, I guess, off the top of my head, but it's gone through recessions.
Sure.
Where it's still here. So for us, what we've seen though is, we hear that, oh my gosh, the housing market. Yeah. What we saw in 2022 was unbelievable, and that was the end of it. Actually, 2022 was the end of that interest rate stuff. 2023, we're already seeing some kind of crazy results. It seems like it's, I don't want to say going against, but it's like people are still moving. I don't know what to say.
Yep. Could be between apartments. They could be moving in with their parents, moving out with their parents, moving their parents to a nursing home, right. There's always something going on.
There's still, colleges, apartments, those things are moving no matter what the economy is.
Yep.
Every 6 months, apartments, colleges, they're moving. Every 6 months, there's something going on. And so that's been surprising too. I think nobody's moving anymore. I don't know what to tell you. That's just not the reality.
Is your, I know you can't give me specifics, but is your corporate location up from 22 into 23?
We're doing a restructure on the corporate location. Kind of a crazy story there, but we'll be putting new ownership in that in March of next year.
Okay, taking it out of corporate, making it a franchise. Mm-hmm. Okay. What does the average move cost somebody?
$3,000.
3,000?
2,000.
Okay. And it gets done in a day, the 2 guys type of deal. Okay. That's awesome. What's been the biggest challenge so far just in building this, maybe that you didn't expect?
We thought labor was going to be the challenge. We really did. We thought, knowing the maid service world, we thought getting labor was going to be the worst challenge. That's surprisingly been the least. In every community we've gone into, there's this union of movers. I've never seen it before. They all talk. They all know one another.
Yeah.
We hit a market, because we're doing customer service differently, the movers gravitate towards us. I've never seen anything like it. So we're getting called proactively when we enter in the market from movers, because 1, the wages are better. 2, the tips are better, and they're having a better experience during the move. So it's, it's Chick-fil-A versus KFC. KFC does $1 million in revenue on average. I think Chick-fil-A does $8 million. They're both selling chicken sandwiches. One is a better experience for the customer, and in turn, Chick-fil-A gets more incentivized employees that want to deliver that customer service they're known for. And that's what we see. It's like we're seeing that with Pink Zebra. We're getting people that believe that story, that want that story, that want to have fun when they're moving these customers. And as a result, their wages are higher, their results are higher, their tips are better, and they're getting more intrinsic value out of moving with us than they would somewhere else. So that's been unbelievable. I probably avoided the question. Biggest challenge.
That was good. Hiring. If you have another one that you can answer it, but what do they pay? What do the movers make, or what on average are you seeing franchisees pay the movers?
I mean, that can be, again, not something that I can dictate.
Yep.
Not something that we, the franchisor, can dictate. So it could be from $15 to $25 an hour, but it's going to be 20.
Something in that range. Okay, yeah, something in that range, based on market, based on experience, all that stuff. Franchisees' decisions, obviously. Awesome, cool. I appreciate you coming on and kind of sharing your story. I'm excited to share this with people and hopefully, gain some interest. Anybody who's looking to do moving differently, have some fun. I think, like I said, you got a lot of cool things going on. Surprise box, the calls, the toilet paper. Just trying to make a stressful situation less stressful, right? I mean, that's right. Kind of the whole point. And culture is hard to duplicate, right? Like you think, why couldn't KFC be like Chick-fil-A if they just said my pleasure or whatever, but they can't, right? It's kind of like, it's ingrained from the top down. It's ingrained from the franchisees. And, if you got,
pleasure came from,
what'd you say?
Do you know where my pleasure came from?
No.
Go back one, it came from Ritz-Carlton. Go back another, the founder of Ritz-Carlton was one of the first franchisees of Waffle House.
Okay.
His name is Bill Johnson. He actually bought, or was going to start the Ritz here in Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta, and he was going to start the Ritz. And my pleasure came from effectively a Waffle House franchise owner. Just a little story behind.
Yeah, that's awesome. So anyway, cool what you guys are doing. And yeah, thanks again. And if everybody's interested in learning more about Pink Zebra, they can shoot me a message on Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever. Or if you reach out to them directly, just tell them you heard about it here on this podcast. And I've got a whole bunch of resources to help with due diligence and financing and just kind of give you the confidence to get it going. So thanks again, David, for coming on, sharing your story, and look forward to continuing the conversation.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it, brother.
That's all we got for this episode with the Business with Beers podcast. One thing that would really help both us and other new potential listeners is to rate the show and leave a comment in iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you listen. Also, make sure to link up with me on your preferred social media platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can find all my links at brianbeers.com. Please just share the podcast with anyone who you think might enjoy it. And until next time, remember to take the actions others won't, to live the life that others don't.